team member comes and says, oh, we got problem X, most managers are like, ha-ha, the Superman moment. And let me pull off my shirt and show the giant S and I'm going to run in and save the day. If they were to start to shift to questions for that team member, okay, what's most important here? When you look at this, where are there risks and where are the risks that we don't want to even play with? That line of questioning is going to help them when they're the ones working to answer it and they don't know what in the heck the answer is. They're like, man, I don't know. Those same exact, either those same questions or that same mode of questioning to help themselves or help the group that's making this decision, that's going to be a key skill to have developed.
This week, I started working with a couple of new leaders, new to Wingspan, and one of the things that I was challenging them on in terms of their perspective is that they've ascended to a level of leadership where they're expected not to have the answers.
Oh yeah,
and that was a real like, what the hell are you saying?
Yeah.
moment for them. And that's come up, many times over the years and working with leaders, since we're working with leaders who have a few years under their belts. And so they've continued to advance and they take on a bigger scope of responsibility. They've transcended up to a point now where, they're having the answers can actually become irresponsible.
Or it's irresponsible to act like they have.
Well, that's the whole different
answers.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's one of the reasons. So because leaders have been, so many of them, when they're more junior in their career, they've been heavily rewarded and recognized for having the answers. That was their value and contribution, and it was the expectation. Except now, when you ascend and get to bigger scopes of responsibility, and your impact is more far-reaching, that's not the case anymore. Their value and contribution is not in having the answers, and it's not in what they know or what they're doing. It shifts over now into having better questions.
Oh yeah,
and also shifts over into how they're doing what they're doing, not actually what they're doing.
Yeah, that maps up 100%. I'm working with several leaders who have been promoted and recently, and they've said, I'm now I don't know how that this part of the team works. I don't know how these processes go down. And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And they look at me when I say, yeah, of course, like, what the hell are you talking about? You're taking away my little safety blanket. What do you mean? Yeah, of course. And it's this flip out moment. And I'm saying, yeah, of course, the higher you go by definition, you're not going to know everything because it's more scope, it's more responsibility, it's more parts of the business that you're looking at. Of course, you're not going to know everything. Like, it would be bizarre if you're the smartest person in the room and you're the CEO, time to fire everybody around you.
Yeah, that is a problem. And in an upcoming episode with Lydia Lightner, she talks a little bit about that where having been promoted, and she was fast rising leader, fast rising star in her company. And so it was really hard for her to like let go, because there's also this sense of control when individuals are seeing, like, because I know the answers, it's an illusion of control, really, though there is a sense of having more control when they have the information or they have the answers. And that's one of those places where it's really important. And sometimes it's counterintuitive when we Wingspan advisors challenge and flip the script for them on that.
I'm wondering how much it's the control versus how much it's the comfort of, I know how to do this thing. I know how to solve this kind of technical problem. And then all of a sudden something gets into a space where either technically they don't know it, or it's not a technical problem at all. And it's a behavioral issue of, how are you going to get Joe from your team and Mary Beth from finance to work together to solve this issue.
Well, that's exactly, I mean, this is where it starts to bite them in the ass because they have advanced to a higher, a bigger scope of responsibility. And control, though, and comfort go together. So when someone is in autopilot, they are perceiving that they have a high level of ability, little to no challenge. And so when they're in autopilot, it's not requiring them to like really think. They're not bringing much energy to the table. And when they're in autopilot, that's an illusion of control.
Or they're not doing anything that is different enough, unique enough, new enough.
Well, and that's autopilot. That's the comfort zone.
Yeah. I like that. I'm on board with that.
Yeah. The other thing that, like a related dynamic, is that they are attaching their confidence to what they've been doing or what they know.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really exciting when they start to see, with the Wingspan system, they start to see their own behavioral performance much more clearly. And then they start to see, I'm getting to this level where what I know or what I do matters less and less. Just like you were describing, now I can attach. When I encourage, or over the years, when I've encouraged leaders to start connecting their confidence to how they do what they do, it just opens them up for much higher, more fulfilling performance.
Yeah. There's also a great way to connect how they work, even when they may know the answer, the technical answer. Oh, team member comes and says, we got problem X. Most managers are like, the Superman moment. And let me pull off my shirt and show the giant S and I'm going to run in and save the day. If they were to start to shift to questions for that team member, okay, what's most important here? When you look at this, where are there risks and where are the risks that we don't want to even play with? That line of questioning is going to help them when they're the ones working to answer it and they don't know what in the heck the answer is. They're like, man, I don't know. Those same questions or that same mode of questioning to help themselves or help the group that's making this decision, that's going to be a key skill to have developed.
For sure. So for them to switch gears and start to practice asking questions instead of jumping in with their Superman cape on, ready to save the day with their answers. When they start to practice asking questions, it also is a fantastic way to support themselves, to shift into what is their most valuable contribution now. It's not in you having the answers. It's in you having the questions, and your team members within your function get to have the answers. It's their responsibility now. To have those answers.
It's also where that leader can bring healthy control into the situation because, they can't control necessarily the parameters they're working with, the things that are going sideways or whatever. They are able, though, to say, how can I show up to support myself? How can I show up to support my partner or partners as we're chewing on this pretty gnarly situation?
Yeah.
This is what you and I do. We do a lot of this when we get to we're continually rounding new corners as a business and going, look at this shit over here. This is a new thing to figure out.
Haven't been here before.
Yes. Oh my, new territory. And this is what we do a lot of is we ask each other questions. What's important? How much risk are we willing to take?
What's in addition to rock, paper, scissors, like that.
Don't give everybody our secret. Come on.
Or the dartboard.
Dartboard.
Yep. All right.
Put answers out. And that mode of questioning is something that I got a feeling the more people can see that and see how healthy it is and begin to get into the space of, okay, we don't know the answer. So let's just Let's just get comfortable with that. And now let's focus instead of sweating that. Let's sweat where we do have healthy control, which is, how do we want to help each other think through this?
Yeah, for sure. Because if you're continuing, when a leader continues to build a team where the expectation and the rewards are all about individual team members having answers, that is mediocre compared to how the team comes together to develop and co-create solutions to the problems. How do they come together and integrate all the amazing experience and knowledge that they each have, bring it together, integrate to move into these new places that no one person ever thought of on their own.
Yeah.
That's where like the power really gets to be unleashed and they become that multiplier.
It's also neat because that's where those teams can play the business version of pickup basketball much better because they know how to read situations quickly. They know how to work with each other. They've got confidence of, if Kathy's got this piece, I know she's going to have that covered. This is where I'm going to want her help with this part of it. And I want Bob over there or Melissa, I want their input for me on this piece. And that's where it starts to become faster and smoother. And someone I've talked to or listened to said it's like jazz. It's improvisational. It's just quick. It's just flowing. It's just I step in and you step out. And that's more and more, especially when you look at the global situation with we have conflicts in this part of the world or that part of the world, or we have this kind of terrorist regimes or whatever else, or this is getting implemented or this is getting rolled back. Yeah, it's a constant smorgasbord of what's new today and how in the heck do we react to that, and how do we talk about it most importantly, so that we're not counting on I have the answer because I'm the CEO. It's okay, I've got some ideas and I have you 8 smart people here because you're really smart people. So let's all pile in and work with this.
And don't bring all of you smart people, don't bring your answers and then be attached to those answers. Yeah. Instead, bring the behaviors of being willing to ask questions, bring the behavior of actually soliciting, hey, here's an idea that I have, like, Ivan, where do you see this is going to fall to shit?
Yeah.
It's just not going to hold up. Yeah. Those are the leader behaviors where a team just gets to skyrocket their performance together. And again, their satisfaction and fulfillment because they're intellectually stimulated and in how they're working as a team rather than just continuing to come in out of autopilot, having mastered a certain scope of experience.
Yeah. It's interesting because the shift is from having the answer to having confidence in how to get or create an answer.
Exactly.
And that's where people can. I worked with special operations community for a long time back in the day, and it was amazing how they would lean on each other and talk through things. And it was, that idea sucks. Here's what it's missing. And like, oh, golly, I'm so glad. And so there was all this back and forth. And for somebody who wasn't used to seeing what that looked like, it probably was like, oh my God, these people hate each other. And like, no, this is this creative process. And nobody's so attached to an idea because it's just an idea. They're different than the idea. What they bring to the table is how honest are they willing to be about where this idea has good points and where this idea has gaps. And then, okay, now how do we break these things down and pull the different good parts together to come up with the best plan possible?
For sure, which is an awesome example of where we started, that so many leaders attach their confidence and or their comfort to their ideas or their knowledge, what they know. And that's where they start to hamstring themselves. They will only get so far. They will just create a ceiling and they will not continue to ascend in terms of their, not only the value and contribution they're bringing to the team, to the business, also their own sense of satisfaction and fulfillment from the work that they're doing.
It's also the spot where I'm sure you've seen this when you've worked in other businesses. I've certainly seen it where there will be questions of the leader and people are paying attention to how he or she is reacting and they're going, they don't know what the hell is going on. Like they don't have the answer. They're faking it mightily.
Oh, for sure.
They don't know what's going on. And so there's so much more just safety and honesty and so much more goodness than just saying out loud, hey team, we got this wacky thing. I don't know. Here's what I know. I know that with this group of amazing people, though, we can figure
figure it out.
Absolutely. And so you and I did this just a couple days ago with our team. When we talked about our next quarter goals and these are some of the challenges that we run into, like any business. And we made a point of saying, we don't know. We keep coming around these corners and going, aha, new stuff. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, when our team members are looking at us as owners, and literally a couple of team members have said, well, you've been in business 23 years. You got it figured out. I said, hilarious. Like, do not, I don't know what I'm doing to fool you. Please don't think that. Because that's not how it goes.
We do have a giant bag of answers we pull out from the bottom drawer and go, let me see. This answer is the one we're going to use today. No, not the way. And more, I wish more leaders were more just straightforward with that. To say,
well, that's part of what we help them with is shift out of this fear-based behavior of I think I've got to put on the face. I feel like I need to have all the answers. It's a lot of their intrapersonal performance that's really screwing them up because it's fear-based.
Well, it also goes back to what we talked about earlier of so many folks have made a career out of having the answer in this technical space or that technical space, then it gets bigger and bigger, and then it gets to the point where their technical knowledge isn't enough and they're leading enough people where they're only going to be successful if they lean on those people and have those conversations. And that, for some folks, is a incredibly difficult transition to make. So if someone out there is listening to this going, holy crap, he just talked about me. I'm running up to the buffer of my technical skill, and it's time for me to switch to how do I work with people. And man, give us a call, drop us a line. This is exactly our sweet spot.
For sure. Lydia and I talk about that in this upcoming episode. She and I talk about that. She went straight there in terms of,
good for her.
Yeah, just the fear base and starting to see where she was tapped out on the technical side, and then how scary it was to admit and then take action on learning and growing on the behavioral side.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
There's another like myth or ways that leaders will rationalize, well, I've got to have the answers. I'm still expected to have the answers. Because when I'm in the monthly forecast meeting, I'm being, my region VP is asking me questions, and what they're not taking stock, like really stopping and thinking more strategically about, is sometimes your manager or a more, senior leader is asking you questions, not for you to have the answer necessarily. They want to know, what's your thinking behind this?
What's the thinking process?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how are you approaching this? Not the actual answer. And there's, again, that's a whole other exchange. And in fact, that perspective can be super helpful for a leader to stay centered and clear and confident, even when they're being asked questions and they don't have, quote unquote, the answer right at their fingertips.
And depending on how detailed the answer is, I've heard of leaders who have said, how come you know that? Like, that's something I would expect someone 3 levels below you to know. So it means that they're
too far. You're too far in the weeds.
They're too far in the darn weeds. Yeah, like, how many of these little tiny things have we shipped? And it was like 527. Like, wait, how the hell would you know that? That is so far below your scope of responsibility. Because people who say, well, I have to know everything that's happening in my business. And I look at them and say, no, you don't. In fact, if you do, you are absolutely misapplying your time, because they're used to, I get rewarded for having the answer. There are questions, though, that if you say, hey, I don't know, I will absolutely get back to you, though, within 5 hours, people are going to be fine with that.
Or another approach to that answer is, I definitely don't know that because, Gigi takes care of that.
Sure.
She's all over that.
Yeah.
I don't know that stuff. on purpose.
Yeah.
I keep my fingers out of the pie because I actually start to create problems when I'm getting into those details.
Yeah.
And so expressing out loud that there are some things you don't know on purpose, it's deliberate. By design.
Yeah.
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 That's another way that leaders can respond when they're in that position and as they're starting to practice the embracing and accepting. My responsibility now is to not have the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
For any listeners that really know Ivan, I hope that you're watching on YouTube and that you zoom in really close. I couldn't go this whole video without.
You're evil. You are pure on evil. Zoom
in really close. What looks different about Ivan today?
You are awful. You are an awful mean person. I can't believe.
I'm getting you back for that coffee mug that you made.
I'm gonna bring the coffee mug on the next episode. That's what I'm gonna do. So you can play this game.
Would you like to share with our people?
So obviously,
what happened? You look different.
Yeah, thanks. So obviously, with the Chrome Dome, that comes with some grooming. So I was shaving, and then accidentally got from hair to eyebrow, and I heard one go zzz, and I just remember having this. Oh, that was a mistake. I didn't expect to hear that sound right above my eyeball, and I looked in the shave mirror, and I was like, "Yep, sure enough, that's exactly what I did." So I was like, "Well, time to do the other one." Zip. So
make it even.
It would look stupider if I had one on and one off. It would look like I'm a car with its turn signal stuck on or something. I don't know.
What was so funny too was in our quarterly on Monday, like straight out of the gate, our other bald guy, Mike, is like, "Ivan, what happened to you?"
Well, and I was hoping I'd get away with it because I had a conversation with Heather that morning, and we were, jumping into whatever the heck it was, and she didn't say anything, and I didn't think too much about it. And then later on, I was like, she didn't say anything. I guess I'm in the clear. Maybe it doesn't show up that way on video. You get to decide.
Oh my gosh. No, this was good. It's not this dynamic around leaders really getting to a point where they understand they are currently expected not to have all the answers and not to have the answers. We don't talk about it often. I mean, I do in session with individuals,
sure.
And sometimes with teams, though, we haven't really talked about it. So I'm eager for people that are listening in to challenge themselves, like really, really take a look at where am I still telling myself and rationalizing I've got to have all the answers, or I've got to have all that detail, and how true is that? As Heather would say, how true is that?
Yeah, and also to go into the space of where am I putting my focus? If it's not going to be on having technical answers, where am I putting my focus? Mm-hmm. And hopefully that answer will be more towards putting my focus towards how I lean on the team, or how we ask each other questions, or how we work to co-create. We have a whole section of questions in our practice guide around advancing questions to co-create solutions. And that is an amazing little resource.
Yeah. So definitely stay tuned for the episode coming out with Lydia. We get into some of this. And if you're in that space, like Ivan said, we got you. We got your back. So give a holler and put a couple of these things into practice, and you'll be leading without the BS.